Hello everyone, welcome back to another Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous video, where today we'll be discussing the 5th and final season of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. Wow, it's been a very long journey from 2020 all the way to 2022, it's been absolutely crazy. I've already posted my non-spoiler review earlier this week, so if you want a review about Camp Cretaceous Season 5, feel free to check out that video as well, as that video contains no spoilers. As for today's video, this will contain spoilers, so click off now if you don't want to be spoiled for Camp Cretaceous Season 5. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and let's try to hit 1,500 likes on today's video. So, was Season 5 any good? Ultimately, it comes down to this one question. Whilst I feel as if this is easy to answer, I begin to realise that it simply isn't. In one hand, it's good, it was fantastic, in the other hand, it was not. Overall, my solid rating for this new season would have to be either 6 out of 10 or 6.5 out of 10. So it wasn't exactly terrible, but also not the greatest thing to come out of the Jurassic franchise. So let's try to find out why, and let's start with the negatives firstly. Camp Cretaceous Season 5 takes off where Season 4 ended. That in itself is obviously logical, but also means that we get to see a lot of issues from Season 4 seep into Season 5, such as the Brad X's and the mind control. Whilst this felt very off-brand for Jurassic, it admittedly got better after seeing Jurassic World Dominion. However, for the time being, still having these robots around was a slight nitpick of mine. Something I'm sure loads of you guys are aware of my personal opinion right now is relationships. Firstly, in Season 4, I didn't think it was all that great to have Brooklyn and Kenji in a relationship in my opinion. This is a story about friendship and staying together, and making a couple out of that just didn't really seem right, especially with the very odd 3-year age gap for their ages. The same thing happened here with Yaz and Sammy. I won't talk too much about that, but they were the only two in the group that actually had a perfectly balanced friendship going on, and that was great for their character development. However, putting them into a couple completely ruined and hindered their character development and their story in my own opinion. I feel as if these 6 campers, especially with how the show ended, should have been focused more on the friendship side of things. And just like Kenji and Brooklyn, this relationship felt very forced when there was a perfect friendship going on. It felt as if it was a target to hit by the end of the show. Throw in a new relationship out of nowhere and this causes more plot points in Camp Cretaceous Season 5. Something that I felt like the season didn't really need at all. Another thing that I didn't really like regarding Camp Cretaceous Season 5 would have been the convenience of the Barbasol can discovery. Yeah, I'll discuss the Barbasol can later on, but for now, really? It just so happens to have been there lying around all of these 23 years? Whilst it wasn't in the exact same location as to where we saw it end up in Jurassic Park, it's clearly been moved or potentially played with by the Dilophosauruses or potentially any other dinosaur. But I highly doubt it came out of those play sessions of 2 decades completely unscathed. One thing that irritated me the most during that scene is the fact that Lewis Dodson said that it would have been nice and handy to have that can 25 years ago. 25 years ago? This show takes place in 2016, so he's referring to the year of 1991. But he gave the Barbasol can to Dennis Nedry in 1993, 23 years ago. And I highly doubt they did a similar plan before doing this with Dennis Nedry. Maybe it was more of a roundup generalization of the time concept from Dodson, but now that's got me wondering whether or not something happened in 1991. Either way, the convenience of the Barbasol can was something that caught me off guard just a little bit. There's a few more nitpicky things I disliked throughout the show, but we'll begin to move on to the positives now, which I believe there are much more of compared to what we saw in Season 4. I probably should have said at the start of the video that this is going to be a short spoiler review. But what were some good things about Camp Cretaceous Season 5? Firstly, it was written so much better than Camp Cretaceous Season 4 that it felt much more Jurassic, despite these seasons taking place back to back, with no jumps whatsoever. It felt as if the writers and the creators made the correct big changes throughout this season. Not many robots were used, you actually had a connection with some of the dinosaurs and characters, and you were constantly surprised by the evil factor from Daniel Kahn. It felt much more Jurassic this time around with everything that happened. Yes, spiced up with some of the Season 4 stuff, This is as Jurassic as it has been for a while. Daniel Kahn was one of the greatest characters that we have seen from this show. He was constantly trying to manipulate the campers when needed to, and he was a true corporate villain, always trying to put his secrecy and name ahead of anyone else, including his own son. Whilst it seems as if he didn't care much for Kenji, I believe that he actually did. Even when escaping the island, he wanted his own son to come with him despite Kenji not wanting to. This showed that Daniel, despite being a bad guy, also had some heart about him. He was strong, dedicated and intelligent throughout this season and was a really well written character that I absolutely enjoyed. The connections between Jurassic World Dominion was also a personal favourite of mine. I'll go deep into those connections very soon, but Jurassic World Dominion played a bigger part in Camp Cretaceous than what we originally thought. It seemed as if there was a potential for the investors to be Biosyn for a long while, and that came true. But bringing Lewis Dodson to Isla Nublar and then also having him find the Barbasol can was on another level of awesomeness. It really felt like they were tying in loads of things from the past and the future that we needed answers to. I thoroughly enjoyed a lot of the main connections. However, I am intrigued as to how Lewis Dodson got his hands on the Manticorp tech. As we know, Daniel Kahn was arrested at the end of the show, with Ben and May also remaining on Manticorp Island in the year of 2018, and therefore no one was able to sell these chips to Biosyn or even create them. So that makes me believe that there is still some more story to be told here. Now, there were loads of more small things that I enjoyed throughout the season, but to keep this spoiler review sweet and to the point, I'll now jump to my favourite moment regarding it. The last 2 episodes, we experience a rematch between the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Spinosaurus, with the Spinosaurus coming out on top, almost killing off Big E.T. But we get another round of fighting as Big E.T. comes back to attack the Spinosaurus, winning this time around. However, that point as to where Big E.T. seemed all doom and gloom made me happy, but in an emotional way. Happy because it was scripted so well and you can feel the shock and pain that everyone and every dinosaur felt witnessing that happen. Then it was carried by Darius's "no", which provided my heart with that extra bit of sadness, a scene that really tugged on my heartstrings. These last 2 episodes were simply some of the best writing and action that we've gotten from the Jurassic series as a whole, and it didn't stop there. After the amazing ending of the campers growing up and being set in 2018, we got one last connection that completely wrapped up things for Camp Cretaceous in a really fun and satisfying way. The introduction of the Lockwood estate being mentioned was just one more fun and interesting connection to the main timeline of the movies. After Brooklyn mentioned about following a lead and knew about the Lockwood Manor, I knew what year they were in, and I jumped out of my seat with joy and excitement. She then further explained how there are some rumours of dinosaurs in the Lockwood estate towards Darius, as we find out that Darius lives very close to the Lockwood Manor. Then we had a stunning and absolutely heartwarming scene of Darius looking outside of his window and seeing a Brachiosaurus. Seeing this all pieced together at the end felt like a proper ending to Camp Cretaceous. Nothing too severe that could end the characters completely, but enough to feel satisfied about the entire story and still wishful for more from the campers in future movies or shows. At the end of the day, Camp Cretaceous Season 5 was absolutely beautiful and I really enjoyed it. Whilst it may not be ranked as one of the highest things in the Jurassic canon, I do believe it's one of my favourite things to just watch and rewatch. It was a season that I didn't really go into with high hopes after watching Season 4, but a season that blew me away nonetheless, especially that gorgeous ending. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you happen to enjoy today's video, be sure to press that like button as our like goal is 1,500 likes, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. But most importantly, all I ask for from you guys today is to make sure you're all staying safe out there. Get ready for my exclusive interview with the executive producer of Camp Cretaceous coming out this weekend, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hello, hi, you, did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.